Tamta, and welcome to My Kitchen, Her Story, where we celebrate all things female leadership. Today's guest is an award-winning entrepreneur. She's a data scientist, a mother of a beautiful baby boy and 2 cats. She's also a Formula One and tennis obsessed. She is really passionate about making the world a more fairer place. She has launched a company that really contributes to that thesis. Please meet a co-founder of Husmus, Sarah Werner.
We want to make it possible for everyday people to be able to live in a house that works for them and the planet without financial hardship. I wasn't talking about you, love. I'm just saying men in general, but not you.
Welcome!
Hi, Tamta.
Hello! Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super happy to be here. Less happy about the cooking, but we will get through it.
Hey, we are learning life skills here, okay?
100%.
What are we making?
We are making stuffed chicken. It's stuffed with spinach, sun-dried tomatoes, and some cheese. It's super simple to make. This is why I picked it. Spoiler alert. And I'm looking forward to this because these days I pick things that are super simple to make, that are quick, and
you have a busy life.
I have a busy life. So
But also, I mean, all the ingredients are really good for you too. I mean, very nutritious.
That's my 2024 thing. I'm trying to be healthier.
Is that a January thing? Does this go out of the window in February?
No, this is a relatively kind of like mid-mom trying to find her way back to, you know, the person she used to be.
So I am here to help you.
Awesome.
Please tell me, what can I get started on? Do I need to grate Parmesan, or what do you want me to do?
So I think that we should actually start with prepping the stuff that we're going to stuff the chicken with. That's
Perfect.
step one.
Tell me, what am I doing?
So I'm
a chopper. I'm your chopper.
Okay, so I like to actually chop the spinach. So many people might not do this, but I actually like to chop it so it's easier to handle in mouth.
Yeah, so we don't actually cook the spinach. We stuff it raw.
It in the. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to get started then with butterflying the chicken, and then I'll start with the spinach stuffing.
Right. Okay. So
here I go. While we're getting started with all of this, tell me, because you are revolutionizing housing market, how people will get a chance to be buyers, renters, how the insurance works. You're doing such a high impact job.
Thanks, Tamta.
Please tell me, what is Husmus?
Okay, so Husmus exists for a very simple reason. We want to make it possible for everyday people to be able to live in a house that works for them and the planet without financial hardship. That's effectively what we're about. And what we know is that the way that access to housing works is not uniform. Some people get better deals than others. Some people have to struggle hard to access. What we want is just make it a level playing field and get people into the homes that they need, because, well, I mean, aside from food and water, everyone needs a roof over their head. So.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? You couldn't have come into a better time.
I know.
Because cost of living crisis, housing market crisis. Talk to me, what's happening?
I mean, so the market is crazy now. When we say the market, it's just people getting into homes right now, especially for the renter climate. It is absolutely insane. You can't.
To be honest, let me tell you, in London, it's impossible to rent a decent apartment for a decent price.
Yeah. And
the prices have skyrocketed.
They've gone a bit crazy, and to be honest, if you and I think that it's crazy, imagine people who are on, single family income homes, people who have a large number of dependents, people who are recent immigrants, who are on benefits, God forbid, because then nobody's looking to give you access to a house.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is to make it possible for all of those people to have the same kind of rates that we do. And one of our flagship products is one of my favorite things. It is an insurance policy, a renter's insurance policy, that effectively makes it possible for a person to rent a home without the need for paying the deposits, without the need for a guarantor or having to pay rent in advance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I know that that's something that at least 25% of the market, the people who are looking for homes, have to suffer through.
Yeah. How do you make that possible? Because, so, like, walk me through. I'm Tamta,
Yeah.
coming to Husmas.
Yeah.
Help me rent an apartment, a house. I don't want to pay deposit. Help me. What do you do first? Walk me through.
So effectively, what we've built at Husmas is an inclusive decision maker. That's an easy way to think about it. 'Cause
Right.
in today's world, the way decisions are made had been decided years ago. They're very, very focused on credit history, for example, your
Right.
credit scores. But that's not something that everybody has. And even in some cases, not having a credit score is actually bad for you.
But also, they're not very accurate.
They're not very
Honestly.
accurate, and they focus very much on people having loans, mortgages, all of this stuff existing. But what if you
Right.
don't? What if you are new to a country? What
Right.
if you are just graduating from school, just moving out of your house? You may not have any of these things. So what we do is instead, we look at you as a person, we take a look at your own financial kind of like transactions,
Right.
and then we've built this really clever algorithm that looks at these more inclusive metrics to identify who is stable and reliable. And that includes people who may be on benefits. In today's world, that is a negative no-no. Nobody likes anyone who's on benefits. But for us, we're like, income is income, right? Like,
Right.
why should it be different for you if you earn your living from
Government
the
or
government, from dividends, from
whatever it
your
is coming
parents,
from.
whatever it's coming from? Money is money, right?
Right.
So, and this is exactly how we treat people.
So, what are the top 3 things that you look at, or it could be 5, I don't know, as many, that is actually different from what other institutions like banks look at when they're deciding whether to give you a mortgage or not, and whether you are a reliable lender?
Yeah, for sure. So, like for us, like I've said the number one thing in the first place, which is like money is money. So we don't
Right.
discriminate what your source is.
You
We
kind of
just-
need to have money though.
Well, you have to have an income source.
Right.
That could be from anything.
Okay.
Right? So that's the first thing. And then
Right.
the second thing that we kind of look at is how people have historically behaved when things go bad. Because life happens, right? There are times that you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't pay for X, I can't pay for Y.
Yeah.
But what do you do in that case? Do you act responsibly or do you not? And so that's another measure that we look at. And then B, it's just like really, really flexible in terms of deciding, being bespoke for what the person needs the money for. So in the case, for example, of our renter's insurance, you need that money because you don't want to pay a deposit. So we look at it from that perspective rather than making it the be all and end all, looking at your entire financial transactions
Right.
as a whole. We look at how you've performed as a renter in the past, and then that is a huge part of the decision making.
Right. So, Sarah, how did you though decide to get into this specific business, launch this specific firm?
Oh, that's an interesting question, because I was minding my own business in the corporate world when.
Where were you in corporate?
So I used to work as a data analyst for pharmaceutical companies. That was
Okay.
kind of like my space.
Uh-huh.
I did a degree in that, like biotech, biosciences. So that's where I was happily living my life.
Yeah.
And then I accidentally became a landlord. My father passed away. I inherited our home, and then I thought, after having rented from many dodgy landlord in London over the years, I was going to be like the pinnacle of landlording.
Were you the nicest landlord? Landlord?
Well, this was my plan. This was the plan. I was like, right, I'm going to be so good, like I'm going to make the news for how awesome I was. But then I started to discover that there are actually so many financial reasons why people act the way they do. It's like the decision-making process. Even though I'm a person who's highly empathetic, someone who really cares about inclusivity, I started to find myself actually, bias started to creep in. All of a sudden, I didn't like someone with a very cute dog because I was like, well, actually.
That's going to ruin my furniture.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, crap, Sarah, why are you thinking like this? These are the kind of things that you didn't like when you were a renter. So why are you thinking like that?
Right.
And I started to realize that this is all about the financial decision-making process, because when your money is at risk,
Yeah.
you make more safe bets. And that's why I understood it now, why every time I applied for a house, they're like, we like you, but no, there was a doctor who wanted this house, so we're going to give it to them.
We're going to go with a safer option.
Exactly. So I thought, hey, if I, who really cares about inclusivity and really like wants to do the right thing, is now starting to shift the other way.
Even I am shifting. What is everybody else
What
gonna
is
do?
the hope, right? So I thought, okay, you know what? Let's do something about this. And this is kind of like how I got into the rationale for me anyway, for getting into Christmas.
When did you launch it?
In 2021.
2021.
So November 2021 was when we like went out to
fundraise?
Yes, that too. That too.
How was that experience for you?
It was eye-opening for me, actually.
Oh,
yes.
Tell me more.
I am I would describe myself as someone as type A, high achiever.
Yeah.
I felt like I had my stuff together. Like, I know what I was doing in life.
Right.
So I'd heard all these stories about how fundraising was difficult.
Yeah.
But I thought,
oh, it's going to be fine.
they're not talking about me.
No,
clearly. They were talking about somebody else who didn't know what they were doing. I, however, know what I'm doing. So it's going to be super easy.
Right.
And I was so surprised.
Really?
Yeah, I was so surprised by the experience. But, I mean, there's a lot that you can learn from other people's journeys. And this is why I think like founders really have to speak to other founders, like just get out there and talk to people. So even though I found it like difficult and there were elements of bias there, I feel like if you really know your space, and I really know this space, I spend all of my time thinking about housing, all of my time thinking about housing finance, knowing my customers, and that comes through in a way. And then you just have to find your tribe, find the people who care about the same kind of stuff that you care about, the investors who care about that inclusivity.
How did you find your tribe?
I talked to everybody that was going past.
That was willing and unwilling to listen.
Willing and I love that you said that. Unwilling to.
I'm going to tell you anyway.
I'm going to
Sit
tell
down.
you anyhow. And you're going to tell me somebody who you know.
Yeah.
Who is a landlord, who works in a bank, who works in an insurance company, who is any of the like key stakeholders for my success. You're going to tell me their names and their numbers and make an intro. So
I love that.
yeah.
Just make them work for you.
I think so, because you know
Why
what?
not?
It is hard. It is like, I'm going to put my hand out and say like, you know what? Of all the things in my life that I've ever achieved, this has been the hardest. And so why would you try and do something so hard by yourself?
Absolutely. But also it's such a high impact thing that you're doing that everyone should just rally behind it, because at one time or another, everyone will be touched by this, and everyone will have a need or would want to have a need.
Do you know what? What's so interesting is like I get my investors coming to me now and saying, right, I see why you're doing this. I had to do something for like my sister who's just moved into the country, and I'm like they were so upset by it that they sent me like videos of like competitor journeys.
Oh my god!
And that was like, I'm like, yeah. Welcome. Now you
can use Husmas. Go on the website.
Exactly. So like when I get those kind of stories, even from like people who in principle got it because they obviously invested, but then they hadn't lived it. But then when somebody that they know and loved had come into the country newly, then they were like, oh, okay.
What do we do?
Yeah, this
and
is
you
like,
want to like support them, but then you also like don't maybe have a knowledge or expertise to guide them on that journey. I remember before even getting to the housing ladder or anything like that, real estate ladder, I came in here as a student. I'm from Georgia. I was not a British citizen at that time. I am now. I take applications for passports. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm going to get arrested and deported. That was a joke. And I had a Georgian passport. I was on the visa. I did not have a credit card, just quite frankly because I just hate.
Why would you need it?
I just hate borrowing money.
And you may not even need it. And this is a very a cultural thing. Some people just do not like credit cards.
I just always, I never even considered it. And obviously I'm also not registered to vote because I'm unable to because I'm not a citizen. So one day, somebody was like, oh, you should really get a credit card because it's a thing to do. And I was like, I mean, okay. And
Okay.
so I went into my bank and I was like, hey, can I get a credit card? And they were like, okay, well, let us run a background check. But just a disclaimer, when we run a background check, it actually affects your credit score negatively.
Isn't that the most insane thing?
I was like, what the
Heard?
what? Wait, so you can't give me a credit card
Yeah.
without running a background check and a credit score check. However, and you care about this credit score. However,
It's also a bad thing.
it's also a bad
credit
thing,
score.
and you're gonna
Yes.
impact me negatively by doing so.
Yes.
Make it make sense.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. It
But-
doesn't, Tamta, and that's the thing. But
It's just like-
banks, they've been doing this for years. I mean, I think credit scores came into be about 250 years ago. It's hard not to crack. Like, habits are hard to break, and they've been doing this for a long time.
Right.
So I was actually quite surprised when I approached companies and said, "Hey, you know what? Have you considered doing things a slightly different way?"
Not just relying on the credit score.
Yeah, and surprisingly, nobody shut the door in my face. As a matter of fact, we've got like 100% like conversion rate on everyone
Wow.
we've approached.
So what is the alternative?
Christmas?
But what are what do you look at if not a credit score?
Well, why is that credit score so important?
Right.
What is the function of the credit? So this is kind of like
Can
where
we just
I
throw
came
it
at
out
from-
of the window?
This is how I came at it from my point of view. Is like, okay, back to white paper principles. What are we trying to achieve? We're trying to give people some sort of financial tool to achieve X, right? But we've all come to rely on this other thing, which is not a great proxy for the thing that we're looking for. For
Right.
example, the credit score, everyone who's renting a home has to go through one because referencing is a thing. But what does how often you pay your credit card have to do with rent? People sometimes get into financial difficulties, but everyone pays their rent. Everyone pays their mortgage.
Yeah,
You
otherwise
might
you're
choose
out.
not to. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You might choose to make the minimum payments on your credit card. You may choose not to pay your gym membership. You may cancel Netflix. You may do all of these things, but you will keep the roof over your head. So I'm like, okay, if that's what it's about, why are we asking about how?
Right. How often you pay your credit card bill?
That's irrelevant to the question at hand.
Right.
The question at hand is, how do you behave with a finance tied to your house?
Got it. But also, where does that lie on your priority ladder?
Boom.
Right?
Boom, boom.
Not just a pretty face.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's amazing. Okay, I actually
Ooh, how
want
are you
to
doing?
want to get
Excellent
into
skills.
more stuff, but first tell me, how are my shopping skills?
You
So we
have
have
done fantastically well.
some spinach, garlic, sun-dried tomatoes, and then do you want the parmesan and feta inside there too, or inside? So I'll just carry on chopping while I'll give you the bacon tray to just prep, and we can preheat the oven.
Yes, please.
So Sarah, while I do that, please tell me
Yes.
about your personal journey
Oh,
while
God.
you were fundraising while you were pregnant.
Yeah, I don't recommend this to people. Do not. It is not for the faint of heart.
So what happened?
So,
Be as candid as you allow us to be with you on this story, because
Yeah.
I know it was quite a difficult
Yeah,
one.
for sure.
But also a very inspirational one, and I think a lot of women watching you will get so inspired by you.
I hope so, but I also hope that they fundraise not when they're pregnant. But I'm going to take a step back and just
Yeah,
say
but
a
it's
little bit
also it's a very it's a personal experience, because you know, I have friends who fundraise while pregnant and they were just easy peasy, right? It's such a, it can go either way.
Yeah.
How was your story? How did it go for you?
So, I mean, it went okay. So I'm just going to take a step back and just give people a little bit of context. So
Yeah.
my co-founder is also my husband, which makes things both easier and a little bit harder.
Right,
Because at that time, we'd also decided that we wanted a family.
right,
And then we had the conversation about, now the right time. We have this other baby
Right.
that we're trying to raise.
Right.
Should we do this or not? But we thought, hey, time waits for no one, and let's do it.
right.
So we're actually doing a whole bunch of like IVF during this whole founder journey as well. And we had got pregnant by IVF, and then we'd miscarried, and then we're like, okay, let's just continue with life. And then we got pregnant.
Accidentally? As in unplanned without?
I mean, it was interesting. It wasn't with IVF. It was just like,
Naturally? Yeah?
Go figure. So
Right.
then we thought, okay, well, let's embrace it. Yes, we happen to also be raising right now,
Right.
but what can you do? And so we just decided to roll with it. I was quite lucky because it was still a little bit in COVID time, so I could get away with not
Running around.
running around, not
Right.
doing first meetings. I actually didn't have to meet anyone face to face, which was like interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I got away with it all. I'm gonna put some olive oil on this.
And then how was that? What was, first of all, how was your health catching up with
Oh, yeah,
all
so I
of
had
the
a head-
schedule of straining schedule of fundraising, constantly having to be on form?
Yeah, so that was, again, thank you a little bit to the Zoom gods and the team gods and the Google Meet gods.
Yeah.
Because I had the luxury of not having to travel, so the bump was like very easily hidden. And then dealing with all of the medical issues that I had for someone who went into a pregnancy like super healthy, like I sure became unhealthy really quickly.
What were the medical issues that you were facing?
So a few complications. I developed clots. I twisted
Blood clots?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
twisted my ovaries. Had to be on like morphine, and then you get the usual things like the fatigue that people get. I didn't get any of that.
But
the morning
you
sicknesses,
got
but
a
I had
much
other
more
things to deal with. Yeah.
complicated ones.
Yeah, but I had other things to deal with other than the
Right.
morning sickness and stuff like that. But yeah, so that kind of like enabled me to like conserve energy a bit because I didn't have to do the running around physically. I could have a sleep, then do my pitch, and then have a sleep because you had to be so high energy during pitches,
Right.
and you have to be completely on top of your game, and it's not really great to just be like, oh, I'm super tired and like super sick and I can't do this.
You just didn't have a luxury of
I
that.
just didn't have the luxury for that because I had to close around before there was a child. I had to get the team ready, and I was having so many medical problems that we honestly had like continuity plans put in place in case I didn't make it. Like it was literally like that serious.
Oh my God, I got goosebumps. It's
Of the
like,
situation, but yeah.
how do you even begin to plan for that when your life is about to change, you're about to bring new life into the world, and you're planning for the worst?
Yeah, I mean, you compartmentalize it is
Right.
what I would say about that. You just like, you deal with what's in front of you when it's in front of you. You're feeling tired, you sleep. You have to make a pitch. You take a step back and think about what needs to happen. We
Right.
had a few team members from the States, and I had terrible insomnia, so that worked out for me well because then I was on their time zone rather than them being on mine.
Right.
So you do what you have to do to get the job done, and the job needed doing.
But is that the mentality though? Because I feel like it's a mentality for women because we are just extremely responsible and we feel very accountable and we feel like we have to deliver constantly,
Yeah.
especially if we are taking your money.
Yeah, 100%. I was like,
So-
people have given me their money.
They've given me money, their
Yeah.
trust and faith that I'm gonna make good on that
Yeah, yeah.
promise. So I have to deliver. Do you think that is true across the board? Because I mean, we know a term of man flu. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, not to name names, but I do have some specific experience with the man flu
Right.
on account of I live with a man. So
That happens to be maybe your husband or
yeah,
no?
I'm like, I can't look at the camera now because I'm like, wow. In case he watches this video, I wasn't talking
You
about
better watch
you, love.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, of course he's gonna watch it.
I wasn't talking about you, love. I was just saying men in general, but not you. May not like tough it out. I don't necessarily want to like disparage or anything, but I do think
Yeah.
that women do have an inner strength of like, okay, this needs doing. Just
Yeah.
go ahead and do it. Ooh, right now let's stuff the
Come.
goosey.
Bring us the chicken. Let's stuff this little baby. Oh, let me also switch this on so we can sear it.
I have rubbed it in oil, so
Did
it
you
is happy.
massage it?
Well, a tad. I didn't want to get too friendly with it, just
Why
in
not?
case it got ideas. I am a married woman. So, you know.
Okay, so I got this little beautiful paste. Ooh.
Cool. Yep. Go for it.
Okay.
So this doesn't have to be pretty. For anyone who's actually maybe watching this for the cooking,
Yeah. Oh,
This-
why not? Why not? Well, I mean,
it doesn't have to be
pretty doesn't always mean tasty.
Yeah. So this works. This works.
More?
I love.
That's it? More?
No, because I want it to close, and plus, like, I poked a hole in it. So let's not. Nobody look at that.
Don't overstuff.
Yeah, don't overstuff it.
Yeah.
Sarah stabbed it.
So, do you want oil on the pan?
I will
While
put a
you're
little bit on the
washing-
pan.
yeah. Tell me, how does it work being married to your co-founder?
It works beautifully for me.
Okay.
So he is the yin to my yang. We are complete opposites.
Right.
He is the. I was gonna say the nerd to my, but what is the other thing of nerd? I don't know. I'm not.
Is he quite?
I went somewhere. I didn't
Is
know.
he
I was
quite
going.
geeky, data-driven, more
So
operations?
I'm quite data
brain?
driven. So I'm quite data. I'm the data person. Like,
Okay.
I mean, don't start me on Excel sheets and on data
Talk dirty
tables.
to
And I'm
me.
like, oh my god, yes, I'm here. It's a chart. I love it. So this is that's my thing. But
Right.
he's the kind of like the tech guy, the software guy,
Right.
the IT guy. He sorts out all of that for us. He's got that level of expertise in things that I don't know about. So for example, version 1 of Christmas was very quick and dirty, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can totally build the algorithm for this because of my data science background. But I was like, so what is this thing called the cloud? And how do I get it there? Like, if I build it, how do?
You know that I used to work at Google Cloud, yeah? Yeah.
Oh God. So I was like, yeah, how do we make it on the internet? 'Cause I
Right.
can make it on my computer, but I don't know how to make it on the internet. So he does all of like that stuff. And then honestly, like I can 100% say that if I get us to a place that is, if I say in my hubris, get us to a place that's like 90% of the way, he takes us to that 99% of the way.
Right.
He always improves like our ideas and our thinking, and he's the details guy to my overview, you know? Like it works really well because we have completely separate areas of expertise.
Right.
So we don't step on each other's toes in that way.
I
And
love that.
I
And-
completely respect his opinion.
And that is literally match made in heaven when
Yeah.
it comes to all this, when it comes to co-founders and co-parenting your little baby that is
Yeah.
Cosmos, right?
Yeah, I'm the real one too. And I mean, hey, it doesn't work for everybody, right? So you might get some people say, you spend all day with this person. I loved it. My favorite person in the world.
Oh,
Why wouldn't I want to spend all day with him? So
Loving that the romance is not dead.
no, but we do start our day with daily stand-ups, which some people might say is not very romantic, but I'm like, to
You
each
started
their
your
own.
day with a what?
With like daily stand-ups. Like so
What?
before we meet, so
Tell me.
I've learned a lot from the tech world and from developers. Shout out to all the developers out there. But effectively, we have a 15-minute conversation about the day. What's the plan? What are the priorities? What are we doing? And it's like sectioned into home, child, Christmas. And we have that chat before we even talk to the rest of the team, so we're on the same page. Because we are really actually good communicators. Like we
And
communicate a lot.
that's
so,
key.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, to have powered through what you powered through and overcome all the challenges and going against all the odds, you are a superwoman. I mean, quite literal a definition of a superwoman.
I think
Take it. Just take it. Just
to be
take
honest,
it.
I think any woman would do it.
Time for some chicken action. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
That's what they say.
Right. Are you ready to try this bad boy or
I
bad
am.
girl, whoever it is?
Hey, I will eat. I'm always ready for eating.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Awesome. Okay, you cut. It's like quick dinner.
Very quick.
That's like
actually.
the name of that's the name of the game for me these days. It's like, okay, what can I what can I make that's like super quick and
But
still-
delicious.
Yeah, and
Oh.
good and like healthy
Oh,
and
smell
stuff.
that, smell that, smell that. Get that chicken facial.
Chicken facial.
Is that a thing?
It's hilarious. I don't know, but it's funny.
Okay, let me cut piece for you.
Yay!
I'll
Thank you.
cut piece for moi
Woohoo.
with all the stuffing. Let's go. Dig
Right.
in there.
Right.
Ooh, cheers.
You know
Oh
what?
my god.
Tamta.
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
She paid me to say that, but actually I'm saying it for free because it's so good. Wow. I don't know why. I didn't expect it.
Really?
No,
No, no, but you know what? It's the
I
cheese
think
and the
it's the
sun-dried
stuffing.
tomatoes. Yeah. It's
The
and
salt
the
in it.
seasoning. Hot.
what does this mean?
Yeah, it's like this is all Sarah. All she did that. No, kidding. But
Oh my god, this is so delicious. We're
It
gonna
is
have
really
to
good.
finish this.
yeah, like so when we bye guys.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go. Okay, bye.
Go and eat the rest of this chicken. Thank you.
Yes,
Next
sorry.
time that you
There
all-
will be no leftovers.
No.
Sarah,
Yes.
I'm so
My
grateful
lovely.
for you.
No, and I'm so grateful for you, Tamta. I should say, like, you know, you started Founder Social, and I joined when there was like 30 people. Like, so I'm one of the first like founders there, where we were just like a small group of people, just like having dinner and talking and sharing experiences. And yeah, so like now it's grown to this like big thing, and women are supporting each other, and that's what I like
Yep.
to see. You know, I have time in the world all day, every day to support another founder.
I love and I love that. That is all what a founder social is about, right? It's a community of incredible female founders, investors, entrepreneurs who are just there to support each other.
Yep.
And just because they want to, and
Yeah.
just because they can.
Why ever not?
And I am grateful for you for coming on here, telling your story so candidly, but also for making the world such a better place with what you are building at Hosmas. Please tell our audience
Yes.
where they can find Hosmas, how they can get in touch with you guys and get the process going to get on that in that real estate market
Yeah, 100%.
over there.
For sure. So check us out. We're at husmus.net. You can also find us on Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok as well, on Hello Husmus. So yeah, come talk to me. I always have time to talk to people who are in the housing space. So as they say, door is always open.
I love that. And one last question.
Yes.
Sing one single advice you would give to anyone. It could be for female entrepreneurs. It could be to someone who wants to get into a housing market. A single Sarah advice. What would Sarah
Ooh.
advise?
I'm going to go a little bit philosophical with this one.
Please.
Because, you know, you grow up in life and people throw away the words, life's not fair, life's not fair, life's not fair. But I'm like, we've designed it that way. We can make it fair. You just have to make a choice. Do you want to do the thing that's easy to do, or do you just want to take a stand and make life just a little bit more fair, just every day for someone else? And I think we can all do that, and then maybe our kids won't have to say life's not fair.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tamta.